Welcome to the Barstool Banter. I'm your host, Pete Judy. Today we have a real treat for you. We have the lead man, Alan Rueda, from the band Stone Whiskey. We're going to sit down, do an interview with him, get to know this man from North Carolina. So, grab your beer, belly up to the bar, and let's hit the Barstool Banter. Welcome to the Barstool Banter. I'm your host, Pete Judy. Online, we have Steve from Steve-O's Music Madness and Alan Rueda from the band Stone Whiskey. Brother, North Carolina in the heat, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I know. Raining here.
Got my AC cranked down to about 68 right now.
Yeah.
Electric bill's going to be double this month.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
So, when are you guys planning on heading back out?
Well, we just, a couple weeks ago, we were down in Charleston, South Carolina, played a benefit show for a guy down there. Last night we were in Greensboro, North Carolina. We played with, opened for AC/DC tribute band and Shoot the Thrill. That was a great show. The next one we got coming up August 19th, we will be in Greenville, South Carolina, playing there, and then we had I think we're back in Raleigh shortly after that. So we're trying to get out there as much as we can. We're trying to get out you guys' way.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Need y'all to give us some clubs that we can hit up and get out there and play.
Yeah. What has the crowd response been since after COVID, and I mean people's getting back out, and so what's
It's actually been really good, man. We've got a good little gig with this AC/DC tribute. So, we actually got to play a couple times during 2020 when, most bands and places were not allowing people to play. So, we did a couple shows in 2020, and then as the years have gone, the past couple of years have gone by, we're progressively at least 2 or 3 shows a month at this point. Within North Carolina and or out of town. We were in Jersey in January and Baltimore, so we're trying to get out as much as possible. Whenever people want us to come, we're happy to come.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, tell me a little bit about your band members. Who all you got playing with you?
We got Bill Spears. He's one of the lead guitar players.
Right.
He tallest guy in the band. He's like 6'4". We got Chris Clark. He's the other lead guitar player. Those guys have known each other forever. They've been in bands together before, so they just really kind of play off each other well, and they have their own writing styles that mesh really well together. Our bass player Jim Hunter, he's been in the metal bands over the years. Twisted Tower Dire, October 31. While Heaven Wept. He's got a good track record as far as his the bands that he's been in, and Mike Ripolewski, our drummer, he's also was in multiple bands with Bill and Chris as well. So those guys have known each other for a good while, probably 15 plus years, and then myself and Jim are kind of known each other just as long, being coming from the metal side of things. So yeah, they're all good guys, man. They're great to work with, great to jam with.
Yeah, Jim, I really like his playing. I'm a bass player by heart, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, who does your most writing? Is that you? Do you do a lot of the writing?
Yeah. As far as the lyrics and the melodies and stuff, that's all me. With this first album in particular, the way it kind of came to fruition is Bill had actually quit the band he was in at the time, and my band, the other band that I was in at the time, Dirty Remnants. We were kind of on a hiatus just because of all the COVID shit going on. So I was at a party at Bill's house and just kind of brought it up, like, hey, dude, let's start. If you're interested, let's get this. If you're interested, let's do some music together. So it kind of built off from there. So about the first 8 songs of that album, we had a pretty good foundation. Bill and I did before we brought the rest of the guys on, because we probably started jamming, me and him together, just like guitar and vocals, in January of 2021. and then the rest of the guys came on about June or July, and then Jim was about that time too. So it was just, we had a good portion of it together, but they all put their twist on all the songs. They all added, their flair. I can't write bass like Jim writes bass, so, and the other guys as well. I mean, so they all put their parts in, and equally wrote, in my opinion, all those songs as well. But I think we'll be working on a bunch of new stuff. So, and with this time around, it's more of a full band effort as far as like just all the songs being written from the ground up type of thing.
So this album really came about rather quickly then.
Oh yeah, man. We started writing in January. We had everything done around, I want to say September maybe, as far as, everything written and recorded. We hit up Anthony Fox, who's the producer of the album, and sent the stuff off to him. He was, did an outstanding job making it sound, awesome as far as the quality and production wise. So, and then had the album out by May of that next year. So we've been trucking,
right,
for sure.
Hey, why don't we take a listen off one of your songs? Well, one of the songs off the album.
Sounds great, man.
I'm thinking Empty Eyes. That's probably my favorite.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, on the Barstool Banter with Alan Rueda from Stone Whiskey, and here's their song, Empty Eyes. Yeah, welcome back to the Barstool Banter. That was the song Empty Eyes from the band Stone Whiskey. With us is Alan Rueda. Great song, man. Great album. I mean, I really love it. I'm really anxious to hear what you guys do collectively as a band.
Yeah, man. We set out to do that album, and, it was just like, we just want to do an album that's rock and roll, just pure rock and roll, no crazy bells and whistles, just really good guitar tones.
Yeah.
And just moving music that makes you, want to bang your head and press the gas, while you're riding down the road listening to it. So, hopefully we accomplish that with this one. We're getting a lot of great feedback from it. So it's just good to hear that everybody's really enjoying it.
Yeah, and you recorded that in Tennessee, is that right?
We actually recorded everything in Vintage Noise Studios, which is actually Bill's place. And that's out of Raleigh. So we got all the foundational recording stuff done there as far as, just the basic tracks. Then we sent it off to Nashville, where Anthony Fox is based out of. And, he would send us back what we thought. We had very little things to change, if any, because of just how good of a job he did with, making it sound like, what a rock album, in my opinion, should sound like. So it was just a good process, from beginning to end as far as that's concerned.
Nice. Do you have a question you wanted to ask?
Yeah, the song Empty Eyes. Can you tell me a little bit about the story and writing behind that song? That's actually the first song that turned me on to you guys. So.
Yeah, it's just kind of like about a chick who just like, is up to no good pretty much, doesn't really care about anybody but herself, and, so there's a lot of, you run the streets, don't miss a beat, your mouth a loaded gun type of stuff, that's just, she's out there running her mouth, not caring, about anything or anyone but herself type of thing. So that was kind of the gist behind that. So, we had Gaia for the music video, and she did a great job at just, being annoyed at us jamming the whole time. So that was a good kind of way to, to see it as far as the way the video came out. So yeah, that's I try to create stories with anything I write, or have some kind of like theme, or if something hits me, as far as like that goes. Like I was just thinking, oh man, what about this girl who just doesn't care about anything, doesn't care that you're in a band, and she just, is all about herself. So, once you kind of get that idea, the lyrics kind of come pretty easy after that.
Yeah. Sounds like, past experience or something like that? Ex-girlfriend maybe?
I think we all have. Yeah. I think we all have.
So, you're basically just on the East Coast then, right?
Yeah, we haven't been too far out west or anything yet. We are going to Chicago, I believe, in February 2023. So that'll be probably the farthest way. We're trying to get a couple shows on that ride, maybe a Friday night and a Saturday night, or maybe even a Thursday if it all works out, and do a little run to on that drive to Chicago. So that'll probably be about the furthest west we've gone. But again, we'll go anywhere. We'll play anywhere. We want to get in front of new people, and that's, in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. And get, just go to a new town and let meet new people, and rock a new crowd.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what we can do about getting you up here when you come through.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. So
send us some clubs, man. We'll hit them up ourselves and reach out and see if we can get some shows booked.
I'll send you some in Indianapolis. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've got one in Richmond that's opening back up. The Firehouse.
The Firehouse Barbecue. Yeah, we can reach out to him and see what he's got.
Yeah, we've got a couple places.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. So, are you getting much radio play from the local radios?
Not necessarily from the local radio stations per se, but we get a lot of radio play in Australia for some reason, and we get to see where that's so, and actually in France, not even really in the United States, it's mostly radio play in other countries, which is cool. But we are getting some radio play. A lot of people streaming it. With having the music videos really helps as well, as far as just getting the word out. You know, that was our goal from the get-go, to kind of, you know, make a music video for every song on the album. So
Yeah.
We try to have as much content out there that people can kind of sit back and enjoy,
Yes.
listen and watch or whatever.
So that was kind of your take on getting everything out, is doing videos, because now everything is so, you know, everything is online. You know, everything's social media. So that was your strategy, is put out videos for these, right? And they're good videos. I like them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, we went all out with the production, man. We hired a production crew, Aaron and Rich D'Amboise. They're a father and son team that, you know, have all the right equipment and do great jobs with the recording and the editing of the videos. And, you know, we're able to kind of give them our ideas as far as what we think the video should be, and they do a great job of helping us bring it to life. So, and yes, exactly what you said with kind of today's age of internet and social media and
Right.
everything. If you don't have music videos out there, then, you know, you're missing a very large crowd of people. You know, we've with the 8 we've got out now, we've got over 100,000 plays accumulated on all of them. So,
Right.
you know, people are out there watching it. You know, sometimes we'll get a bump, you know, of 1,000 plays or more every couple of weeks. So, you know, if you don't have it, you're not going to get that. And me personally, the way I discover new stuff is, you know, going down the YouTube rabbit holes or even the streaming rabbit holes, where it's like, you know, oh, check out this new band, or or oh, these bands are like your band. Why don't you, or like this band? So why don't you check these guys out? So you know,
And
if you don't have all that, then you're missing out.
Right, and that's how, I mean, Steve's always getting a hold of me with, hey, have you heard this? Have you heard that? I'm like, hell, how the fuck are you even hearing this stuff? I guess I'm just, you know, I guess I just don't dig deep enough, man. But he hears a lot of that shit, and he's actually turned me on to you guys.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Steve. I appreciate we need guys like you that are out there, like, pumping the music, the new stuff, and, you know, we feel like it's just a mutual, you know, beneficial thing for guys like you and that are out there that do that exact thing, find new music and turn people on to new music. So
it's fun.
We really appreciate that.
And it's people like you. I mean, you know, because I'm kind of honored doing this interview with you today. Is next week, we're going to post this next week. Next Sunday will be my 300th episode of Steve-O's Music Madness, and it's going to be with you.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome, man.
I want to thank you for that.
I know that's a big undertaking as well, and 300 is a big deal.
Yep, I got a good team behind me. Yep, I got a good team behind me. But, you know, the wizard over there, the guy behind the scenes that makes this video, you know, we're just starting to do online interviews. This is actually our very first online interview we're doing as well. So, but again,
heck yeah.
Yeah,
anyway.
He doesn't make me look stupid, which is a feat to do. Because
give it time.
Give it time.
That part out.
Now he'll leave that in, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so while we're talking about the videos and the streaming and everything, why don't we play your song "Mirrors"? You got that coming out soon, you said, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, when we had kind of set out to do this, you know, we did an interview about a year ago, and we were like, you know, our goal is to do a video for every song. So the last one we did, Troublemaker, was the 8th one, this final one that we literally just got off the editing table. No changes to it. It's freaking awesome, and it's coming out this coming Tuesday. So Mirror will be the final single / video off of the album. So it's a big accomplishment for us as well, and you know we're just great that it's done. And you know we kind of set a precedent now as far as that goes. You know with the new stuff too. We'll probably do a video for every song moving forward, you know. So,
hey, you know that's a great thing. You know, it's sort of like, you know, the MTV era when they first came out. You know, that's how bands were noticed. You know,
right.
You were on MTV. You know, you made it. You know, and it's kind of funny how everything just kind of turned back that way, but it's done independently now.
Absolutely, and that's another thing too. You know, like look at some of those big bands that were on MTV, and you know they probably have just a handful of videos throughout most of their career. I'm like, we've done 9 in a year.
Yeah.
So for every song on the album, and you know we didn't cheap out on them or make them corny or anything. The production is there, so you know we're just gonna keep that train going.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
All right, well let's take a listen to Stone Whiskey's new video coming out, Mirrors. We'll be right back with you on the Barstool Banter. Welcome back to the Barstool Banter. That was the song Mirrors from Stone Whiskey. Great song. Like I said, the whole album's great. Let's talk a little bit about the name Stone Whiskey. How did that come up?
Man, it was a long process. There was a lot of really, really bad names that came out of the brainstorming of trying to figure out a good name. I'm trying to think of some of the bad ones we had. I think one was Atomic Cock Slap or something like that.
Hey, I like that name. I might use that one. Can I use that one?
Yeah.
I see our podcast show's already changing.
Like, that might be a little too much. So it was just like, we finally came across. There was a couple of like different variations. Like, are we whiskey stone, or are we like, is it dirty something, or is it, and then finally, we came up with the Stone Whiskey thing, and man, it just like kind of rolled off the tongue, and it felt really good, and it was like, this sounds like a freaking rock band name, so
Yeah.
It was, it was awesome when we came up with it, and luckily, nobody else had it, and it's been trademarked and everything now, so nobody else can have it. So, it's awesome. So yeah, it was a funny process, but we finally came to something that we all thought was pretty badass.
So speaking of trademarks, is that a band thing, or is that a one person thing?
No, we went into this as a group, and that's how everything's done in this band. Everything is split equally, and nobody has any kind of reins on the title or anything like that. Everybody's name is on all the trademarks and copyrights and any kind of royalties or anything that go out. Everybody's name is on it, so it's everybody's got their 20% or whatever as far as ownership of that name.
Right, and I noticed that looking. I'm the older version of music, so I was always one that would grab the cassette back in my day, and the CDs that come out, and the first thing you do is you open it up and you smell the smell, and then you read the lyrics and the liners and everything. And that's one thing you noticed in here, is that there's not one person saying, well, I wrote this and I wrote that. It's all done, and it's obvious when you take a look at that it's collectively a band.
Absolutely, man. And I'm with you, man. And then as far as like looking at like who actually wrote the songs, you see a lot of those older bands are like the only people getting credit for it, or like the guitar player and the lyricist or something like that, or the person that actually wrote the song. And whether you wrote where you write a song or not, unless you play every piece of that song, then to me, everybody has to put in their own. If somebody has contributed to it, then they're equally as responsible and accountable for it as well. So we're not here to hold any kind of reins over anybody, or we just everybody's putting in an equal amount, so everybody should get one. So nobody's getting credit for anything individually, as far as that's concerned.
Nice. You're not going to run into a LA Guns thing. How they split off and have.
Who knows, man? 20 years from now, there might be 3 different stories.
You don't know, dude. You don't.
No, when he was talking
about.
about.
It doesn't come to that, but you never know.
Hey, well, that'd be a good thing if it did, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, Pete, when he was talking about the CD.
Jim will have his own version, where he's like the only original guy in the band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Be like Jack Russell's Great White.
Yeah,
you got Alan Rueda, Stone Whiskey.
Yeah. Or Bobby Blotcher's Rat or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the only one in it.
Yeah, that probably never wrote a note on the songs. Bobby Blotcher.
Right. One of the things I like to ask, since Pete was talking about, having a physical copy, opening up, reading, what was it like when you first got your copies of your album? What was it? I mean, what was going through your mind?
Man, it was awesome. It was just like, it was kind of surreal, because I've been on albums before. This is really the first album I've ever been on in the past, ever, that actually we put out some vinyl. We had CDs and all that, but, just opening up that vinyl and like pulling it out, and, I did all the artwork as well, because, I'm a graphic designer by trade. So, pulling it out, seeing it in physical form, hearing it on the vinyl on a fucking badass stereo, it's kind of like, wow, like we did it, and we made this happen, and it's done, and it's it's now nobody can take it away from them. It's there.
Forever.
Yeah, forever. It's out there forever now.
So if you're sitting in your house and you have all forms of music to play at your fingertips, what are you going to play? Is it going to be vinyl, MP3? Is it going to be CD, tape, 8-track? What? What's your favorite media to play?
I mean, I'm a vinyl person myself, but I play any kind of media. I've still got all the tapes that I have back in the day as well, like tape suitcases. That you can carry around. But yeah, definitely vinyl. Like through a nice stereo, man. You can't really beat that sound anywhere, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And,
the popping and the hissing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, just like that kind of feeling that you get. It's a little warmer of a tone that comes off of it as well. So, you know, cranking that through a good sound system is kind of, you know, hard to beat in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. So let's talk about some of the early influences that you have yourself. Maybe the band has. Who is something that when you heard that, you said, "Fuck, that's what I want to do." Who was that first band
Or person.
or person that did that?
Man, I mean, I would say probably, you know, hearing Appetite for Destruction for the first time really kind of like set off the rock and roll in me, you know, for sure. You know, that was, you know, being like a 11, 12-year-old kid, putting that in, you know, I had the CD at the time, putting that in was kind of, you know, hearing those guitar riffs and Axl singing, you know, that really kind of, you know, made an impression on me for sure. You know, as far as influences go, I mean, Skid Row is one of them as far, you know, of that era. Just two great albums, great singers, great guitar players. You know, I'm also a metal guy too, so Armored Saint was one of those bands that really kind of like stood out to me. Just their energy and John Bush's singing. You know, it's different, but it's, you know, no Axl, but he's still got a great like tone to his voice. So those were like those were things that stood out to me when I was younger. You know.
Speaking of John Bush, how did you feel about him in Anthrax? Did you like that?
I thought he did a great job with that Anthrax, especially that, you know, Lesser of Two Evils album or whatever, where he did the Anthrax tunes. I mean, I thought he did a good job. He's definitely, in my opinion, no Joey Belladonna as far as like, you know, that's Anthrax to me, but he did a great job in the time he was in the band. I do believe he did.
So you're a Belladonna fan? Not a Bush, are you?
I am, absolutely, yeah.
See, I got to go the other way, dude. I'm more of I like the Armored Saints. So I'm kind of the Bush fan. I kind of like him. I like what he brought to it.
Oh, I do. I mean, I do too, man. I thought it was a great era, but to me, it's like, if you want true, it's like kind of that, what do they call it? The legacy stuff you see these days. It's like,
yeah, it's like the Van Halen thing, right? Yeah.
Like, do you really want to see him without the original members type of thing?
Right, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. John Bush is fucking solid, and again, one of my influences, vocally one of my biggest influences. He's one of them. So I thought he did a great job. But, you know, I've also seen some of this latest Armored Saint stuff, and he's still killing it.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It's great. Yeah.
My very first concert was in '84 when Armored Saint opened for Whitesnake and Quiet Riot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Market Square Arena, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, he's an old fucker. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm surprised he's awake at this point.
Shut up.
Usually we're napping by now.
What do you think we're doing this show early?
Right, yeah.
Hey, man. Yeah. If I'm not out rocking until 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm usually in bed by about 9:30.
Yeah. Yep.
So, earlier you were talking about the overseas plays. And it seems like there's a lot of bands, a lot of the music, the kind of stuff that we grew up listening to, the kind of stuff you're playing now, that, you know, it's real big in South America, it's real big in Europe. Like you said, Australia. Australia has seemed to be a big hub recently for a lot of bands that were coming out.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have plans to go over there and play? Because that would probably be insane.
Oh, man, absolutely. You know, I've been talking a couple times to the guy that runs Wildfest out of Belgium, and, you know, our ultimate goal, one is to go to Europe, because, again, and we for some reason it just feels like some of the people in these other countries accept rock and roll, or not necessarily accept it more, but it's more mainstream than you would find here with, like, the, you know, pop and all that crap that's on the radio these days, or even rock stations not playing, like, to me, what I would consider new rock and roll.
Right.
It's still, like, overproduced, not what I'm hearing when I go find stuff for myself type of thing. Whereas, you know, especially South America, even Mexico, but even from what we've seen in, like, the data that we get back from people playing our music, like, we were like really surprised that like, you know, Bogota, Brazil, Mexico, like was some of our business listening places in the world, as well as Australia, Germany, France. I mean, you know, those are the people that are listening to our music, you know. And then, you know, some weeks will be like, you know, 100 plays in France, 50 plays in Germany, 3 plays in the U.S. I'm like, what are we doing? So, but I mean, dude, to tour Europe, to get on those fests, to get in front of those people, man, that's one of our ultimate goals. You know, we've been talking to somebody about possibly doing something in October. I don't know if that's going to pan out, but if it doesn't, our ultimate goal is to get across seas and get into other countries as well, because hey, we even want to play the Monsters of Rock cruise or whatever.
Yeah.
If that opportunity comes up as well, because, you know, I think just we fit in with all that. And again, the more we can get out, the better. I just want to play music and rock some faces,
Yes.
melt some faces off. You know.
Speaking of that Monsters of Rock tour, I went on the first cruise that they had. I don't know how many years ago. So it was all the bands that, you know, you and I would listen to and Steve would listen to. It was that. There were so many fucking bands on there that you couldn't see them all. And it was like,
right.
Jesus, it was terrible. I mean, it was great to have all that together, but Jesus, how do you pick, you know?
Well, I'd pick Stone Whiskey.
When you two of your favorite plans are playing different stages at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How do I choose?
Yeah. So
I can't be 2 places at once.
yeah.
That's what gets me about that Hellfest. I'm looking at the lineup. I looked at the lineup for Hellfest, and I'm like, how can they even pull this off?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that many bands, like hundreds of bands, you know, all playing consecutively, different stages. You know, you got to pick and choose what you want to see, I guess.
Yeah. And I guess that's a double-edged sword for a fan. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing, you know. Shit, you got to pick your poison, I guess.
Well, yeah, well, it's good for the promoters because they're like, well, they'll just come back next year and see who they want to see if they're on it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay, so have you ever heard of the band Kicking Valentina?
Oh, man, yeah. Those guys are awesome, man. If we want to be like anybody, man, it's honestly those guys. I mean, look at what they're doing right now with their... They just did a European tour. They got some killer new rock music out there. You know, they're doing exactly what we want to be doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, those guys are and you know, met Jimmy a few times. You know, and they're all just good guys, man. That's really kind of a big deal as well. Just, you know, being able to just hang out and talk with those guys and pick their brain about how they're doing their thing and what we need to do to kind of do that as well. So
the reason I asked that is because I was playing your guys' album in the house, and my wife walked in the room and she said, "Is that new Kickin' Valentina?" Because to me, you sound a lot like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I you know, that would be a crazy tour. You guys together.
We'd be happy to do it if they're down to do it. We're down to do it.
Throw in 8-Ball with that. I like 8-Ball.
I bet that. Yeah, it was odd that she came in and said that. I was like, yeah, fuck, you do sound a lot like that. And I love that sound, the voice and everything. It's a great sound, dude. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So. You got anything?
I know, Steve, you got a couple of their albums on the wall back there.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of Kickin' Valentina. They've been very supportive of my show as well. So I mean, it's been pretty good. So
yeah, man. Hey, we're glad to be back there too, man. So we appreciate it.
Yep.
Sure.
I still got your picture up here on the Wall of Fame as well.
Yeah.
So yep.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, is there anything you think we missed?
As far as the band wise or anything?
Not that I think. The only thing I can say is we can talk a little bit about the new stuff, you know, as well. Like,
yeah, I'd love. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know how much of that you had in the can, or if that was still not something you wanted to talk about or not. But yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah,
man. So we just, you know, we're starting to. We probably got about 8 new songs, maybe 9 at this point. 7 that are completely and totally written. So we have almost an album's worth of new music. You know, we're incorporating 3 or 4 of those songs into the live show now. And hopefully, you know, we're starting to record demos for that stuff. We're going to send it off to our producer here in the next month or so. send it off to Fox, have him give any kind of feedback he has as far as like tones or things, because it's always good to have that kind of feedback. So we were going to send the demos off to him in the next month or so, and then after that, once we get that feedback, we're going to dive into recording, hopefully to have a new full album out by the end of this year.
Oh, shit.
Great.
Yeah, so what, give me some titles.
Let's see, one of the songs is Running Loose, She's a Live Wire, Same Old Story. We got a bunch of, what else we got?
Got any power ballads in there?
We do. We have, that one is called Nowhere to Go. We do have another new kind of power ballad that's going to be on this album, and actually an all acoustic ballad as well.
Oh,
will most likely be going on this as well. So we got some new material, man. And to me, the ultimate test is playing it out live, and we've been able to do that here the past few months. And the new songs are getting some good reception, and it just makes us, before we go in the studio, a lot better at like knowing what we want to do before we go in there. When you're playing that kind of stuff live, it was kind of fun. We played Friday night, and the set list had like 4 new songs on it. Jim was like, "Oh, we're at that point now. We're starting to phase out the first half for the set."
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good thing, right? Evolve or die, right?
Right, exactly, exactly.
So,
yeah,
you guys are producing all this stuff yourself. It's your own label, essentially, right?
Absolutely. That's we had a couple opportunities. We had a really good opportunity that just didn't pan out for the first album because of the time frame that the label wanted, where they were going to be ready and we were going to be ready way before that. So we were like, fuck it, we're going to do this ourselves. And it worked out great, like you look at bands like Dirty Honey who did it for like, they didn't work signed to a label for years, and they get on these great shows, opening for Black Crows. Now they're Black Crows. Now, last time I went and saw them on a Tuesday night, they had like over 1,200 people in the building. So, it's for us, we've got we're doing it all. So the only reason we would even need a label at this point is for like marketing and PR, or to even get us on get us on the tours, on any kind of tour opening for some act that's going to get us in front of a lot of people. But other than that, we're, the recording, the production, the videos, everything, we do it all ourselves. The marketing, everything is done by us now. So,
and
nice.
So you said there was a label that was looking at you, but they weren't ready.
They weren't ready because it was. I don't think I can tell you who it is.
Right.
But it's just a prominent name that does something else in the rock and roll and metal industry, who had started a label, but they just weren't ready to go as far as like having the people they needed and stuff to get everything launched and going in the time frame that we were looking for. So
are you looking at maybe joining up with them on the next one, or is this something you're going to do yourself?
We've talked about it. We do a good job at doing it ourselves, but if a label would sign us and guarantee that they could kind of take us to get us up to that next level as far as getting us in front of the people and getting us plays and in places that we normally don't, then that's worth our while, in my opinion. So.
So you're like, so it's kind of weird because, when you first started out back when, when I was listening to shit, it was like you wanted to be on the label. You got to have the label. Now it sounds like you're like more selective. It's like, we can do it without you. You're going to have to meet us, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing too. Like with us in particular, we're like, dude, we've got everything. We're going to hand you something that's complete and done.
Right.
You can take what we've done and, help us be better. Whereas, we're not trying to get tied down. I mean, dude, I've listened to so many interviews of musicians from back in the day just saying how the label completely screwed them over.
Oh yeah.
I watched this interview with Mike Tramp where he was just like, he by the time White Lion was done, he owed the label like $900,000 or
yeah, isn't that
like
crazy?
That. It's like I don't want to get a bill from the label when it's all said and done.
Yeah,
and he said, finally after 20 years of the label taking royalties off of the music, he's finally able to get his royalties back. I'm like, we're just not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a smart business move right there. In my opinion. But what do I know?
Right. Yeah. So who knows, man? We'll see. We'll reach out to all the the go-tos that are out there these days. You got Frontiers, you got Golden Robot, you got all those labels that you hear that all these bands are on. But again, we don't want to get lost in the mix, and that's
it's easy to
some
do.
of those bigger labels, you can get lost in the mix really quick.
Yes, sir.
And we want to be, which we're going to treat ourselves as our top priority. A label might necessarily not.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's good. Hey, let's take a listen to one more of your songs, and then I got something I like to do with people that I interview, where it's just kind of like, I call it 15 for 15, where it's like 15 questions, rapid fire, stupid shit, and see how you answer it.
All right, cool.
So let's listen to Rebels of the Sun.
Yeah, man.
Let's take a listen to that, and then we'll come back. Here's Rebels of the Sun with Stone Whiskey. We'll be right back on the Barstool Banter.
Every time we hit the town, the heartbeat gets a kick. Lit up by the
Welcome back to the Barstool Banter. I'm your host, Pete Judy, and that was Rebels of the Sun with Stone Whiskey. So I've got some rapid-fire questions I like to ask people just to kind of see their responses. Stupid shit, nothing really some of it is rock and roll based, but yes, just questions you don't normally think about. So, questions I'm going to ask you, just kind of the first thing that comes off your head, or that's those type of things.
Sounds good.
All right, man. So, number one, what's your favorite road food to eat? When you're out on the road, and it's like, I got to eat there. Where's that?
Man, that would be like Sheets or something like that, It's just gas station food.
Gas station food.
That's not the first answer we've gotten either. What was the name of the first band you were ever in?
Direct Frequency.
Direct Frequency. And how old were you in that?
I was coming out of high school, so I was like 18, 19 years old when I started that band.
So, basic stuff, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is the best song ever written? Putting you on the spot here. Yeah, I know.
Oh, my God. That's really tough.
And your answer could change. Tomorrow could be another one. Today it could be in this, right? But just right off, what's in your head right now thinking, fuck, I wish I would have written that.
Oh, man. I mean, I could say this. One band songs that I love to play, and probably one of my favorite songs that they do is Old Ruby, Dirty Looks.
Oh, fuck. Dude. Oh, man, that's my wheelhouse.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Dirty Looks, man.
Oh, have you heard the
the Raceway?
Yeah.
Dude, Jason McMaster just freaking awesome.
I love Dangerous Toys. And,
oh, man, me too, yeah.
Oh, man, but that was he did a good job representing there. He did.
Absolutely, man.
Oh, we're going to have to hang out, dude. Man, fuck. Okay, who's your favorite band right now?
Oh, God. Oh, man.
Aside from Stone Whiskey, which,
right?
That should be number one, right?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Dirty Looks again because I've been listening to them a lot lately. Just for, I mean, another one is, I love Rainbow too. So Rainbow's probably one of my favorite bands as well.
Man,
some Dio and some Blackmore
action. I really wish Dirty Looks would have got more of a mainstream. Although that first album, Cool from the Wire, was a great album.
Front to back, that album. Just every song on that album is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That would be one of your bands, man. That is. When you're at home, not on the road, what's your favorite thing to do?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I pretty much am like looking, always trying to write new tunes. So my favorite thing to do really is just like, I'll get a tune in my head and I'll like, because I'm not playing guitar, or if I don't have a guitar in the I'll like hum it into my phone and send it off to the guys to basically maybe it's a new tune or not. So that's when I'm not like on the road, I'm still like thinking about music all the time.
Well, that's crazy. So, what instruments do you play? Guitar, obviously,
guitar,
right?
Yeah, guitar. I can't even claim any other instrument. I can play guitar. The first band I was in, that Direct Frequency band, I actually played guitar and sang. But as I kind of got older and started playing with guys that were way better than me as far as like guitar goes,
yeah.
I'm just gonna focus on the vocals, man.
Well, that's Steve plays the organ a lot.
No. Jesus.
The skin organ.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay.
I already told you my age, right?
The flesh organ.
Yeah. If you were to go out in your car right now, turn it on, what song is playing?
Oh man, that's definitely Stone Whiskey. At some point on the Stone Whiskey album, because my son, man, my 7-year-old, ever since he heard it, it's like every time I get in the car, that's all he wants to hear. So You'd be hearing some Stone Whiskey when you got in the car and turned it on right now.
Well, that's got to make Dad feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, but hey, when my 7-year-old's rocking to the music and singing the lyrics, man, it makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah,
That's great.
That's a
That's
great
awesome.
feeling. Okay, boxers or briefs?
No, nothing.
Oh, free balling it. Free balling it. Ladies, ladies, if you're listening, you get up there and see on stage, you got to know. All you got is a zipper separating that thing.
Well, that's why I got to have the cod piece sometimes. Just in case that zipper pops down.
Right. You got to contain that animal, right?
Yeah.
Here's a question. Do you still owe Columbia House money?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we all do.
With lots of interest.
Yeah. A lot of, we were talking about some of these questions, and, you got to be a certain age to even understand what that is.
Yeah. Man.
That's crazy. That has got to be probably the worst decision ever made by a record company or anything.
Yeah, let me send you all the stuff you ordered, and you don't have to pay.
Yeah.
We don't take payment up front. Well, good luck getting it after that.
Exactly. Yeah. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. What is the worst thing about playing live for you?
The worst thing to me is probably just the waiting part, man. Because we get to the clubs usually pretty early. Our sound check, usually like a couple hours before. So. And then people don't show up before until an hour, maybe 30 minutes before the show. So I mean, it's great hanging out with the band and everybody, but there's just a lot of waiting that goes on that I don't think people don't realize. Before you actually go out and play for your 45 minutes, and even the driving part too. I don't mind the driving, but it's like when you're at the club and you're there 5 hours early because you got to get everything set up. That to me kind of it's not necessarily the worst part, but it's the worst of all the parts.
Right. Do you still get nervous before you go on?
Not so much anymore, man. Like when I was back in the day when I played in this thrash metal band called Hellraiser. Back in those days, I used to get the butterflies real bad. There were a couple times where I'd get off the stage and immediately projectile vomit. From that, but now it's like, man, I've been doing it for so long. It just feels good to go up on stage. I don't get the butterflies or anything like that anymore. It's, drink a couple beers, get a little loose, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So driving, are you guys? Where are you guys at right now? You got a tour bus? You guys doing it in the van?
We got a 15 passenger and can pull a trailer if we need to. So I know Bill's been looking at some tour bus type vehicles. So I mean, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but that might be something we have in the near future.
That'd be, yeah, and that's great. That's got to get you excited. That's got to get you excited.
It's awesome, man. It's just being on the road with those guys alone is just there's a lot of funny stuff that goes on. There's a lot of good times, so a lot of good hangs and good rock and roll jamming. So it's all good times, man.
So who's the worst driver? You don't have to answer that. That's going to cause drama.
No, honestly, I don't do too much of the driving. I mean, the only person that really drives is Bill, and he's a great driver. So if he's ever too tired not to drive, then either Chris or myself may jump in. But we haven't had too much of that these days. Bill's usually he's been on the road a lot over the years, so he's used to driving long distances.
I guess
for long periods of time.
I guess the question we need to ask is to be for Bill on that one, because it seemed like he drives all the time, so he's probably going to say these guys are the worst drivers.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I drive.
This is who I would not let drive.
What do you think I'm driving?
Yeah, I'm like, are you sure Bill want to drive? He's like, I got it.
No, I got it. You've been up 48 hours. That's all right. That's all right. Okay, so here's the next question that has plagued mankind since its invention. Toilet paper, over the roll or under the roll?
You gotta go over, man.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know who these psychopaths are.
Why would you do it the other way?
That actually drives me crazy when people do that.
It
I
does.
don't know why.
It's psychopaths that do that.
I think my kids just play a joke on me by doing that.
Okay, so here's another. What is in? Again, putting you on the spot. Worst song ever written, in your opinion?
Oh God.
Have you ever heard one of those songs you were like, "Fuck, I'm glad I didn't write that."
Man.
You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. You know.
What? I'm gonna go back to Island Boys again.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
hey, I could agree. I could totally.
Yeah, that song. These people are making.
Agree with that.
Yeah, I think they're broken up now, aren't
I
they?
already
Or
said that
they
once
should
before.
be.
Yeah.
How
Damn.
does that work when you're like brothers and you're broken up? You're like living in the same house.
Yeah.
You're just not talking to each other when you're in the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So if you could pick your ideal tour for you to be on, who would be in it? Who would you tour with?
I mean, I got to go back at least, you know.
And they can be alive or dead, whatever.
Oh,
Dream
man.
tour.
Yeah, your dream tour.
Oh, dude, you know, dream tour would be any like national, you know, big act like, you know, Motley Crue or you know, Guns N' Roses or anything like that, or even just on like the Miles Kennedy thing, opening up for those guys. But, you know, something I think that's attainable for us, you know, would be, dude, we'd love to be on the tour with Dick and Valentina. So, you know, that's just one of those bands that, you know, it'd be great to do that with U.S. run or even a European run with those guys.
Nice.
That would be an awesome tour.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, I always thought that.
So what is your favorite thing about playing live?
The crowd reaction, man. I mean, when you look out there and you see girls shaking their asses and guys banging their heads and putting their fists up in the air, you know,
Right.
you know you're and having a good time to music that you've written. That's the ultimate awesomeness for me. So.
Yeah, that's a
I
different
love playing
kind of
off the
high.
crowd, man.
Yeah.
It is, man. It's an awesome high. You know, that's one thing I can say about being in a rock band is, you know, there's definitely a lot more chicks at the shows. And, you know, compared to being in a thrash metal band.
Right.
But it's just looking out there and seeing people digging your music is really the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. Studio or live? What would you rather do?
Oh, man. Live, probably, I would rather do. But studio is a necessity, and, you know, if you want people to hear your music, you got to do it, you know?
Yeah. So when you guys go into the studio, are you guys playing through amps? Are you plugging into boards? What are you guys doing?
It's all raw, man. It's, you know, what you're hearing is a Gibson, a mic on a fucking Gibson or on a Marshall cab.
Right.
Know? So,
right.
You know, so there's we didn't do any of like the reamping or anything like that. What you're hearing is like the mic on the amp.
Right.
So.
Which I think is the way it should be, which is why I think the album sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't go wrong with a Gibson and a Marshall, man.
Nope.
So, and if you could capture that in a good high fidelity, in a room that can isolate it and get you that sound, man, then that's the way to go, in my opinion. That's the way you're going to get that true, authentic rock guitar sound.
Yeah, obvious. Yeah, I agree. Chicken or steak?
Chicken.
Chicken, really?
Yeah.
It's cheaper right now, Pete.
Man. I like the white meat, man. I eat steak every now and again, but, you know, I'm more of a chicken guy. I don't love some fried chicken and some grilled chicken, but you know, I'll eat a steak if you know, I don't have anything against steaks, but I'd probably take chicken over to steak.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I probably eat more chicken than I do steak, but
yeah,
that's me. Okay, last question I got for you is, what's the best show you've ever seen?
Oh, man. I would say, man, that's a hard one, too, because I've seen a lot of great shows. But seeing Guns N' Roses when they reunited with Duff and Slash, and seeing them in the Coliseum at Wake Forest University, like, it looked like I was walking into Paradise City music video, you know. So like that to me was like one of the most epic shows I've ever been to. You know, just like things that brought back nostalgic moments of my life, like watching MTV and seeing like that, and like, wow, I'm actually at one of these. And they did a fucking great job that night too. So that to me is probably the best. You know, AC/DC is up there too. You know, because they're just one of those bands that, again, they come in, they get on stage, they plug in their guitar, and they rock the hell out.
Yeah.
You know? There's no extra. There's nothing really extra with that. You know, other than dudes playing rock and roll music.
Have you ever seen Kiss live?
Oh yeah, I saw them too. About 3 weeks ago in Raleigh. They
Have you
played,
seen the older Kiss, the original Kiss?
I saw them when they reunited, like in I think it was like early 2000s,
Yeah.
or something like that, where they actually had the guys.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was a good tour.
I did too. I thought it was too.
Yeah, what was that? That was like their 72 tour or whatever, their set list or their stage or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
with all
great.
the TVs and stuff on it and everything.
Yeah, and you were talking about Guns N' Roses. I saw Skid Row open up for Guns N' Roses when Guns N' Roses was still Guns N' Roses right before Izzy left.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
awesome.
yeah, and it was one of those shows that Axl was being a fucking prick and didn't come out for like 3 hours after Skid Row was done, you know. So, but
that happened on the Chinese Democracy Tour. They did that, man. We saw Sebastian Bach opened up for me. It wasn't Skid Row.
oh yeah,
Bach opened up that tour, and after he was done playing, it was a good solid 3 hours. Like they didn't go on until like 12:30 in the morning.
Oh shoot!
You know.
yeah.
And I was like, man, how are they even getting away with this? You know, but
Yeah,
Well-
great, man.
yeah, I read
I
an
was fortunate enough to see Guns N' Roses when he came out on the Appetite for Destruction when he opened up for Aerosmith. So there was just an opening band.
nice.
So I mean, it
Yeah.
was just
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I read an article where Axl he was doing an interview and he said something along the lines of, you know, he realized he was being selfish and he was just putting his crew into jeopardy by delaying
Right.
everything because it pushed everything back and everything. And it sounds like they're having a really good tour last year and maybe even this year.
Well,
so.
that's the thing. They showed up on time. They played on time. They played a 3.5 hour set when I saw them this last time. So it was awesome. And I was totally expecting them to go on later than expected. But like you said, you read that article. I think, you know, he had some kind of epiphany where, you know, it's like maybe it is in his best interest and everybody's best interest to when you say you're going to play at a certain time, you actually do that.
Yeah.
You know.
How did he sound?
He sounded great, man. He sounded great in my opinion. I mean,
He wasn't like a Vince Neil sounding, was he?
oh God. Nah,
I see
he was-
Motley's my band too, but Jesus, sometimes you jump the shark, dude, and they've jumped it. He's jumped it.
Yeah, oh man, yeah, absolutely. No, he was way better, man. And, I mean, I get it. There were some songs where he maybe didn't hit the notes like he could do 35 years ago, but he still did a fucking great job, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
and you know, that's what sucks about social media, because you'll go out there, and that'll be the only fucking shit they put out there is the one
Right.
fucking song where he was flat on.
Right.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
but they don't put out the 15, 20 songs he was spot on.
Right.
You know, that's
exactly.
what I don't like that representation
Yep.
of it, but
Well, that's just the nature of, you know, these news sites or whatever these days. They're going to find the worst thing possible from like a 3-hour set. They found 25 seconds of him sounding like shit.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, and then they're going to blow that out of proportion, of
Yep.
course. So.
how do you feel when people have got their phones up recording you when you guys are playing? Because I know some people are like, why don't you really listen? Or
I mean, honestly, like, to each his own, man. If that's your thing, then fucking do it, man. I don't care if you're recording us and if you're doing, you know, me personally, like, I want to enjoy the show. There might
Right.
be a couple of times I pull my camera out and like record a couple things.
right,
You know, I'm not holding it up the whole time, recording the whole thing, like watching the show through my phone.
right,
You know, which I've seen, like, you know, many people do at many shows that I've been to. But,
right.
you know, it is what it is, man. If you're coming to our show and you're recording it and you're having a good time doing it and you're doing So you can watch it later, or somebody else can watch it later. By all means, fucking do it. You know.
Yeah.
As long as if you're there having a good time, that's all I fucking care about.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big fan of that. You know, why would you pay that money or whatever to go in and watch it through a fucking screen this big?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
you're kind of losing the experience.
To me, it does take away from the experience. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what you almost feel. I mean, just for me, I'd like doing it. I'm the dang. I might miss something if I'm not like watching.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, brother. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Absolutely. Man.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
appreciate you
Alan.
guys having me on.
I had a good time. We definitely got to look at when you guys start branching out west, swinging by, man.
Yep.
Hey, man, if we can make it your way, we're definitely going to try to do it. So, you know, I mean, it's not if, it's when.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'd love to hang out with you and drink a beer or two, and as long as I don't have to drink that shitty IPA you drink.
You drink bottled water, Pete.
Man, that's fine.
Yeah, you can drink yours, I'll drink mine.
Yeah.
Alan, thanks, man. I appreciate your time for this. Really, I do.
Thanks, Steve.
So,
Man, I
yep.
appreciate you reaching out, man.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure.
Yep.
Okay, well, hey, for Steve-O's Music Madness, this is Pete Judy with the Barstool Banter, and thanks, Alan. I appreciate it. Best of luck, and hey, I can't wait to hear some new shit, man. I really
Yep.
can.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
All right.